We are studying the first of the two macro models that we're going to learn. We're looking at first at the income expenditure model. That's the model which focuses on the short run. After that, we will, not today, but we will move to the growth model, which is a longer run perspective. All right, now, this model is based on three principles, okay? The first principle you already know. It's a definition. It says total planned expenditure is the sum of C, I, G, and X minus M. Okay? The second one says, and this is really a restatement, that EP can be expressed as a function of GDP. In other words, we can graph it here. Okay? And the third one says not only is spending a function of income, but income is a function of spending. So we have some reverse causality here, which is interesting. Okay, for now, this is the most important one that we're going to work on. Okay, what we want to know is, what does this relationship look like between GDP or income and spending? Okay, now, it's easy. We take the four graphs that we developed last Monday and we add them together. Okay, I showed you how to do that on Monday. We'll do it in sort of a shorthand way. What does the consumption function look like? Somebody remember?
A linear increasing
Yes. Line. Looks like this, right? What's the vertical intercept? What do we call that? Autonomous consumption. Okay, we said that consumption is autonomous plus induced. Induced means caused by income. The slope of the consumption function is this thing called the marginal propensity to consume. The marginal propensity to consume is a long-winded expression for a simple idea. If you get a raise, if your income changes, how much do you spend? What fraction of a change in your income do you spend? That's what the MPC is. Okay, if you look at the graph and think about rise over run, the rise over run is the change in spending divided by the change in income, and that's the definition of the MPC. You know, you get a $100 raise, what fraction of that $100 you go out and spend now? That's what it is. Okay, so this is induced consumer spending. This is autonomous consumer spending, caused by something other than income. Okay, like your ability to borrow, your savings, something other than your paycheck. Questions? This is review, so I'm kind of going quickly. Diana got this? Okay. All right, now, the rest is easy or hard, depending on your perspective. Okay? What we've said is investment depends on interest rates. Investment depends on rate of return. But investment doesn't directly depend on income. And because it doesn't depend on income, there's no relationship. The investment curve is horizontal relative to GDP or income. Karen? Got that? Good. Good. Okay? Government spending is given, so it's independent of GDP. And net exports are given, so they are independent of GDP. Okay? This was an assumption, this was an assumption. They're not critical, we can easily adjust those once you get the basic model down. Okay, so this is going to get messy. You may or may not want to draw what I'm going to draw. You may just want to draw what the conclusion is. Okay, we want to add these together. So we start with the consumption function. That's this thing right here. We just draw it on the bigger graph. Okay, then we add in a constant amount of investment. So what happens to the C line? It shifts up the C line, strictly speaking. You're right. But if we're adding a constant amount of investment, then C plus I is C plus the amount of investment. Okay, and it's the same amount here as here because that's a horizontal line. All right, same thing with government spending. When we add G, it just shifts the whole curve up by the amount of government spending, C plus I plus G. So this is government spending. This is investment. And the same thing for net exports. So, any questions about what we did before I erase it and draw a cleaner picture? Dave, you with us?
Yeah, I just thought that that was the finish, so I just drew.
Well, it is the finish, okay? But what I want to do is, that's kind of almost outside the range of my arm reach, so I'm just going to pull it down a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Okay, now a couple of questions. Here, I'm going to erase this just because I need the room. Okay.